Hi, my name is Cody, and today we're going to be going over doing a pre-inspection on a forklift. So we're going to start out by doing a walk around, and we're going to start by looking at the tires and kind of checking the floor, make sure we don't see any spots where it appears that the forklift is leaking anywhere. Next, we're going to check the back plate, the forks, and the mast, make sure there's no obvious damage or any signs of leaks from the hydraulic hoses. And then we will check our fluids. We'll start with checking the radiator, make sure it's filled where it's supposed to be too. When you're checking this, you want to make sure that the forklift has not been running and the radiator is cool. Next, we're going to lift the seat and check the engine compartment. This is where we'll check the oil and the hydraulic fluid. And while you're in here, you want to also check your battery and the kind of overall condition of this area. Make sure there's no damage anywhere, wires aren't rubbing on anything like that. Make sure that you wipe your dipstick off first, dip it back in there, pull it back out, and make sure your oil is at a good level. Once you check that, we'll go ahead and move on to the brake fluid and then hydraulic fluid. Here's where we're going to check our brake fluid, make sure it's filled to its proper levels. And here's what we will check our hydraulic fluid. Now when you're checking this, you want to make sure that you have your forks all the way down, because if you don't, there's going to be hydraulic fluid inside the cylinder and it's going to show a load reading. And if you add more fluid to it when you put the forks down, it's going to get hydraulic fluid everywhere. Our next we're going to do is get on the forklift, start it, because we also have to check our transmission fluid, which the forklift has to be running for that. Now, when you're getting on the forklift, you need 3 points of contact. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Once we get the forklift started, we're going to go ahead and raise the forks, make sure that functions properly. We'll also tilt them, make sure it functions properly. And while you're performing these function checks, you also want to watch your hoses, make sure there aren't any signs of leaks coming from them. After it's done, we're going to go ahead and get off and make sure our parking brake is set. Get down, and then here is where we will check our transmission fluid right here. You reach down there and pull that dipstick out and go ahead and check your transmission fluid. After we've done that, we go ahead and make sure all our lights work and make sure your horn works and get on there and make sure the the alarm sounds when you put it in reverse. It actually moves reverse, moves forward, and that's how you do a check on a forklift.